Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Just going to wait a couple of minutes just in case there's some more people joining. Happy Tuesday. Hope everybody's having a good day so far. Welcome to Chat and Shoot Tuesday. My name is Shella. I am a licensed clinical social worker and I work here at Collaborative Cancer Care. And today, we are going to spend time talking about stress, understanding stress response in oncology. So, again, I'll just wait another minute or so. And also, feel free throughout the chat and chew to ask questions. This is educational, but it's always nice to have, back and forth. And also, bear with me. This is my second chat and chew. All right. Should probably get started now. Okay. So again, for anyone who just joined, hi. Happy Tuesday. My name is Shella. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I work here at Collaborative Cancer Care as one of the therapists. And today we're going to spend time talking about stress and how it affects the body, just understanding stress response in oncology care. So, many people hear the word stress and they only think about the emotional state, but it actually impacts us biologically, physically, emotionally, mentally, and even genetically. So think about how it affects the body, mind, and the overall healing process, especially during and after cancer treatment. So, the goal of today's discussion is not to eliminate stress completely, but because stress is a natural human response, we just want to the goal is to better understand what stress is doing inside our body so we can begin responding to it with more awareness, compassion, and supportive coping tools. When we experience stress, the body immediately shifts into survival mode. This is known as fight, flight, freeze response. Our brain signals to the body to release stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline into the bloodstream. And these hormones are helpful in short bursts because they help us prepare for danger. So, for example, if you were taking a hike and you see a black bear on the path, your your I see the bear registers it into your mind, and your brain tells your body to release the adrenaline and cortisol, and those hormones tell your heart to beat faster, to pump more blood to the extremities so that you can run faster. It will tell your pupils to dilate, so that you can see better. Your heart rate will also go up so you can breathe heavier so that you can bring more oxygen into your body. And so in a instance where like your life is in danger, you need the stress response. It's a good thing. It helps you to survive. Um, so this response was designed to protect us in emergencies. If you needed to move quickly to move out of harm's way, the body would naturally activate this survival system. The challenge happens when stress becomes chronic or long term. So basically, after the threat is gone, your body really needs to go back into homeostasis, and I'll explain more of that later. During cancer treatment and survivorship, many individuals are carrying stress daily. Things like appointments, uncertainty, side effects, fear, financial concerns, family responsibilities, changes to identity, and worries about the future. When the body stays in survival mode for too long, it begins to redirect energy away from healing functions and toward survival functions. The immune system becomes strained, sleep becomes disrupted, and fatigue increases. The body can begin feeling worn down over time. This doesn't mean that stress causes cancer or that someone is responsible for their illness, but we do know that chronic stress can impact quality of life, emotional well being, inflammation, and energy levels, and the body's ability to recover effectively. So, again, just thinking about that example of like taking a hike and then you see a bear on your path, your heart rate increases, your breathing gets heavy. If you can imagine like these systems working overtime long term, what happens is those systems get worn down. So like your that can lead to things like heart issues, vascular issues. And the body is not designed to be in that stress survival mode for long periods of time. In other words, it really can impact the ability to for the immune system to work. Instead of that energy going towards your immune system to rest, rebuild cells, rejuvenate, it's going towards preparing itself to save its life. I always think of stress response. There's the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nervous system. So, like the parasympathetic, think of it as a brake, and the sympathetic nervous system is the gas pedal. So, when we're in that stress response, we're like really pressing down on that gas pedal, which I'll also talk more about that as well. Stress is not only something we think about, it's also something we physically carry in our body. Many people notice tension in the shoulders, jaw, neck, stomach, hips, chest, or back. Sometimes the body stays tight without us even realizing it. Over time, stress can affect our body's systems. So, like I said, the cardiovascular system, the digestive system. So, another thing that happens is stress response. Again, your body is trying to prepare itself for survival. It's going to turn off. You only have so much energy in your body. You never get more or less. It just kind of gets shifted to what is important. So if you are about to get chased by a bear, your body's like, digesting food is not that important right now. We're going to shut that off. Some people who experience a lot of stress oftentimes notice like they might have gut issues. Another area Another body system that gets affected is the muscular skeletal system. So issues with joints cause like stress can cause inflammation. It can really trigger arthritis sometimes. Um, Again, the immune system. So if the energy is going towards just keeping you alive instead of building the rebuilding cells, and even like having taken in the chemotherapy for it to work, um, the stress response kind of impacts that. And also sleeping. So not being able to sleep restfully because of the stress. A lot of the time, I people who have a lot of anxiety, they have issues with sleeping, and If you think about it, during the day, you're so busy doing all the tasks that you need to do. And so that keeps you distracted. And then finally, once you get into bed and you put your head on the pillow, your body is tired, is trying to rest. Your brain is bringing up all the things that it wants to worry about. Your to-do lists, all the things that you couldn't think about earlier because you were so busy doing things. People may experience headaches, muscle pain, stomach discomfort, increased fatigue, racing heart, or shallow breathing. Emotionally, stress can create feelings of fear, sadness, irritability, frustration, grief, helplessness, or emotional exhaustion. For individuals going through cancer treatment, there can be emotional stress connected to body image changes, uncertainty, isolation, loss of routine, or fear of occurrence. Sometimes people feel pressured to stay positive all the time, but emotional wellness is not about pretending everything's okay. It's about creating space for honest emotions while also finding support and regulation. Our bodies often communicate stress before our minds fully recognize it. That's why practices like gentle yoga, breath work, meditation, grounding exercises, movement, and rest can be so helpful. They help signal safety back to the nervous system. So, next, I'm going to talk about the mental impact of stress. Stress also affects the way we think. The brain naturally tries to prepare for danger by scanning for the worst case scenarios. This is actually the brain attempting to protect us. Unfortunately, when stress is ongoing, the mind can become trapped in repetitive negative thought loops. People may notice thoughts like, what if it gets worse? What if treatment doesn't work? What if I never feel like myself again? I should be handling this better. These thoughts can increase anxiety, depression, fear, insomnia, and emotional fatigue. Stress can also intensify pain. When the nervous system stays activated, the body becomes more sensitive and reactive. Pain may feel stronger, sleep may become harder, and exhaustion may deepen. On the other hand, when the nervous system feels calmer and more regulated, people often report that pain is more manageable and that they feel more emotionally grounded. That doesn't mean that positive thinking cures illnesses. It just means that the body and mind are deeply connected. Learning coping skills can help reduce suffering and improve overall quality of life. Some supportive strategies include practicing mindfulness. And mindfulness is anything, I describe it as anything that kind of gets you locked in. Like you can block out all the noise of the world. Mindfulness can look like meditating, it can look like running, it can look like knitting, drawing, reading, anything that helps you to be able to disconnect from thoughts and focus on the task at hand, whether it's focusing on your breath or running or other things. Um, therapy Therapy is either sitting on somebody's couch and like kind of talking about your issues, venting, learning skills. Therapy can also be just talking to a loved one, doing things that you find therapeutic, taking a walk in nature, music, art, journaling is another one. Having social support is another supportive strategy. Gentle movement like yoga, stretching, or relaxation exercises, breathing practices, any creative expression, whether it's journaling or drama or music. anything that encompasses that self creative expression and self compassion. Even small moments of calm can help interrupt the stress cycle. So, next, I'm going to talk about the genetic effects of chronic stress. Research shows that chronic stress may affect the body on a cellular level. Inside our chromosomes are protective structures called telomeres. Telomeres help protect our cells and are associated with cellular aging, healing, and rebuilding. I always think of telomeres as like the end caps on shoelaces. If you have those little plastic end caps on the shoelace, then you are able to thread your shoelace in the shoe. If you don't have that, it's really hard to do that. Chronic stress has been linked to shortening telomeres over time. Shorter telomeres are associated with increased wear and tear on the body. Again, that does not mean stress directly causes disease, and it's important not to blame yourself or others for experiencing stress. Stress is a normal response to difficult situations. What research tells us is that long-term stress can impact overall wellness and the quality of life, which is why emotional support and nervous system regulation are important parts of holistic care. So I I think the research was done by Harvard where they looked at mothers who had chronic stress because they had sick children, and they looked at their DNA. They found that they looked at the telomeres, and they saw that they were so much shorter, and um, that helped them to determine like how fast or slow they would heal or regenerate new cells. Because again, that part, the longer it is your telomeres are, the better your cells are able to rebuild themselves. The shorter they are, that really predicts aging and death of cells. So chronic stress was found to shorten telomeres over time. So, as in closing today, I want to remind everyone that stress response is not a weakness. It's your body trying to protect you. The goal is not perfection or eliminating every stressful thought. The goal is learning how to support your nervous system with more awareness, gentleness, and compassion. Healing is not only physical, healing can also include rest, connection, movement, emotional expressions, boundaries, support, and moments of peace. So I think we have Dr. Wendy online. I want everybody to take one deep breath with me. So when you're ready, you can have your eyes open or closed. But inhaling through your nose, filling up your belly, and exhale to let it out. And if that feels good, maybe take a couple more. And maybe ask yourself, what does my body need today? What helps you to feel grounded? And what small act of care can I offer myself this week? And feel free to share in the chat. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Or maybe how do you deal with stress for yourself even before today's chat and chew? And again, if you don't already know, oh, we have. So Dr. Wendy asked, what was the question? So there's 3 questions. First question is, after taking those slow, deep breaths, what does my body need today? What helps me feel grounded? And what small act of care can I offer myself this week? And Stacy Ann said what she does is bird watching in her yard, which clears her mind. Thank you, Stacy. And Fanny says, I've not learned to deal with stress very well, still struggling. I'm sorry. What are the things that you enjoy? I always like to start there. Figuring out what is it that you really enjoy doing and learning how to make that a mindfulness practice for you. Dr. Wendy says, my body needs more yoga. Yes, that gentle movement. Yoga, you practice gentle movement, you are practicing breathing, and you're focusing on your body, which like incorporates that mindfulness. Fanny says, I take walks in the sunlight for uplifting experience. I love that. I love that because one, you don't have to pay for that. You can take a walk anytime as long as the weather is good. It also, it incorporates different sensory elements. Like you see the sunlight, you're feeling the warmth of the sun, maybe you're smelling the outdoors. These are all things that as you're walking, you can think about. And with mindfulness, the other, what it does is it helps you to develop this skill to notice thoughts that might be stressful and make a conscious decision to kind of disconnect from them and focus on what you like doing. So if it's just that, if it's walking in the sunlight, um anytime something pops up in your head, like, I don't know, what if I don't know what's going to happen in the future? Instead of following those thoughts, which can lead to feeling stress, you might redirect those thoughts to, ooh, I feel that sunlight on my skin. It's nice, feels good. Or like I hear the crunching of the rocks under my feet as I walk. So maybe try that. All right. Thank you for those responses, everyone. I love it when it's interactive. All right. So thank you. All right. If there are no more questions, I just want to say thanks again to all those who are here. And again, maybe think about this for the next week about, what your body needs, what helps you to feel grounded, and what small act of care can you offer yourself. All right. Take care. Bye.